To me, this is a terribly exciting moment when you get to hear a piece that has, these sounds have never been heard in the history of the world before. So let's give it a whirl here.
Who am I, and who am I, this person, to write this piece that can be so impactful? Like, I was just, in a way, I was just doing my job. I was just writing what was meaningful for me.
I'm letting go and hearing real people put it together and put a human breath and tone into the piece. And so suddenly everything that I imagine comes to life in a much more profound manner.
Let me try to rephrase what I was trying to say.
Sure.
Getting to hear something for the first time, play something for the first time, it always has that sense of novelty that's just so special.
I mean, it's an interesting experience because so far the music has only existed in Adam's head. So it's really interesting for it to come out and actually happen acoustically.
I think it's super interesting to just get in the mind of a composer and see what he thinks while we're playing his music for the very first time.
And you can't help but just be intrigued or inspired about what is in front of you. Like, someone just recently thought this out and you get to have the chance to really explore it as well.
We've all been leading up to it. We've heard the picture studies, we've heard his American Symphony, those transcriptions that we've played here. We've had some interactions with him, and it had been bubbling under the surface for quite a while.
I immediately went into looking at the score in on a computer screen. It affords you the chance to just start looking at things and raising questions for yourself and for the ensemble, because then you had to make part assignments.
A huge question mark, because my part in particular is sort of sparse, so I'm like really wondering, like, man, how is my part going to fit in with the band?
What's gonna happen? Oh my goodness, gotta go to practice room, turn on the metronome.
I didn't sleep well. I never sleep well the night before a brand new piece, and so I'm very nervous. I'm just questioning almost all the decisions that I made.
This is the first time I think that I'm going to experience working with a composer, totally transforming his piece along the way.
The moment it comes to life, again, as I said, you start to let go, and at that point, it really is. It's exhilarating. I'm beyond honored and excited.
You met Adam Schoenberg virtually at that time, but this is in living color. This is Adam Schoenberg. And then I hope all of you know, some of you don't, Kathy Panoff, the director of the Texas Performing Arts over there, who So I don't know that we need to talk a lot. We're just going to plow into this thing. Thank you for picking up your music and giving it a whirl for you. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's going to be little mistakes and some potentially bigger mistakes, but I welcome any and all advice, suggestions in terms of what works for your part, what doesn't work, if there's something that's notated strangely. I have someone working in New York around the clock beginning at 2 p.m. today to help me. The ideal scenario is that we're going to send you another set of parts before the reading on Friday for those who have changes. So if there's just anything that is going on that you have questions about, you can either email me or just stop me after rehearsal.
Yeah.
So, and thank you so much.
He'll be around for a while. So let's tune and get right into this. To me, this is a terribly exciting moment when you get to hear a piece that has, these sounds have never been heard in the history of the world before. So let's give it a whirl here. Obviously, I'll be in halftime.
The moment the music began, I started to let go a little bit and began to enjoy the process.
I could see that Adam was really happy to get his piece read, and I think any composer really is just excited that anyone would take the opportunity to really listen to what they have to say. Even someone with as much credibility and good music written as Adam.
So it's constant going for the most part. We just ran the entire symphony down.
It's a pretty heavy textured piece, I would say.
I look at the third movement and I look at that and I'm like, wow, that's some fast tonguing. I'm not sure if I can do that.
Well, that's going to work. All we need to do is rehearse it, right?
Some of the parts I'm like, oh, that's so Schoenberg. Just like, he would totally write that. And some of the parts are like, what the heck is this? Like, I'm playing a marching snare drum in a wind ensemble.
I get to play crotales with magic wand mallets, and I've never seen them before, so I'm pretty excited to use them.
About halfway through just the initial reading of the piece, not the entire rehearsal, I began to get excited. And then at that point, I'm just listening in a very disciplined manner of picking out all the details that I already had questions about in terms of orchestration and balance, what is going to work, what is not going to work, and what I can do to make the piece better.
Right now, no one knows the piece, in the group, so they don't know who to put their ears on. They don't know to whom they should be listening.
So if he hears stuff that he may like, that's great, do more of that. If he hears things he doesn't like, it doesn't necessarily mean he's going to take it off. We just need to think creatively to find ways to make that more musical.
My copyist is in New York, and I'm going to go back to the hotel and I'm going to make all of my revisions. He'll work throughout the entire night, and he'll basically send me everything probably around 8 or 9 a.m. And then we'll send it to the librarian, and they'll print it off and get the new set ready for Friday.
Today was, in a way, everyone was in survival mode, but I think it's far enough along that on Friday we can actually begin to do some things.
I'm letting go and hearing real people put it together and put a human breath and tone into the piece.
I was really excited to hear how all the other parts came together.
Mostly it's exciting because you get to see your one piece of the puzzle that fits in with everything else.
Anything like this, you could please address it, hopefully today or tomorrow, because they're going to start on the
Even in harmonics, I know the horns wanted 180 movement 3 change. That will get changed. Like if you want something in harmonic, you respell because it's going to be easier for you to read. Put that in the email. Okay.
So during the rehearsal, both Wednesday and today, I have a notebook and I'm marking where, measure 412, I need this doubled by Clarinet 2, or I need to take out the trumpet, whatever it is. So it's just based on ear and how I'm feeling a certain area is going musically. So after Wednesday's reading, I worked till almost 3 in the morning making revisions and got up early the next day to finish a few things. So today's rehearsal we read through the piece with the updated edits, and I feel really good about it, and of course I'll make a few more changes now I'm actually about to do.
It's great, and this I'm not going to change. I don't think I really. I'm going to add one of those details. 221 and 262. That's going to be a pivotal moment always for that ascending line to cut through. Right. Being overpowered. Yeah. All right. Great.
For me, at this point, it's more about balance, or if the right color is emerging from within the texture, or if I want something to be pronounced a little more. So really, it's just, we get to fine-tune the nuances at this point. So for instance, normally I'm pretty confident about the ebb and flow of a piece at this stage, but I intuitively felt that the ending might be a little too long, and we decided to cut 4 measures today, because I spoke to Jerry before. I said, I think these 4 measures need to go. Can we run both ways? And he said, absolutely. And he did both versions, and we collectively agreed that we should probably get rid of those 4 measures.
Is it too much for you?
No. I was making sure. I just want to please you.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So there's a fine line, right? When I was telling people, give me feedback on your part, what works, what doesn't work, I don't want people to say, this is too hard. So I want to know what works, what doesn't work. If they want things inharmonically respelled, just the way it reads on the page. If we need to drop a certain octave, I know some of the horn writing sits pretty high for a while, so I'm going to adjust a couple registral things. So I'm very open to that part of the process, because at the end of the day, I'm not a player. I don't know these instruments the way they do. I've studied them. I intellectually understand their essence and what they can and cannot do, but I haven't lived with these instruments. And so the musicians are the best people to approach. So I'm very open to that.
I prefer it because it doesn't sound like Kevlar, but I don't know, that's an Adam thing. So
here's another option. Here's with, we put a black, all I have is black towel on it, and I think it sounds great. Here's without a black towel.
Not really. Here's the issue. The most volume is going to be generated by these Kevlar heads that they were using before, but I just hate that sound.
Yeah, that's what they had back in January. I didn't like that either.
Okay.
So.
Okay, good.
I mean, today's a really crazy day for me. I wrote my first symphony, as many people know, American Symphony, that was completely inspired by the 2008 election. 3 days after Obama was elected, I heard Copland's Third Symphony for the first time performed live, and it was such a meaningful experience for me, and I knew it was part of my civic duty to go out and try to bring more beauty into the world, and I said the best way I can do that is by writing a big work. I'm going to write my first symphony. 8 years later, I'm writing my second symphony that is in many ways inspired by our most recent election, and for some people they're extremely excited. I don't know how I feel. I want to be hopeful. But as I said, this piece is also inspired by my wife and her family. I am, fourth generation American. My boys are fifth generation American, but they're first generation American on my wife's side. She was not born in this country, and immigration is serious. And the idea of migration, migrant farm workers, migrant workers in general, just the working conditions that a lot of people are exposed to, we don't really know about. We take certain things for granted, just the fact that we get a tomato year-round or certain fruits and vegetables. That's not supposed to happen, right? And so I'm worried about our future, but I want to remain hopeful, and we're going to see how this is all going to play out.
It's always nice to put the composer to a face, and then you actually have a dialogue with him, and then see how he talk about his music, because we always get the abstract idea from just the page, just paper and ink, and just like, what does he or she means, that kind of thing. So having Schoenberg there to talk to us and tell the story, which I kind of personally resonate a lot with, definitely helps us prepare the piece.
People have worked for a long time on this and put a ton of effort and hard work into the piece, and for all of us to come together and officially have it be born and come to life for the audience is such a meaningful experience. So I'm just glad to be part of that.
And then Corey, 417, a little less on the vibes. Yeah. Great. And Morgan, the whip sounds awesome. Is there, and if it has to stay at that level, keep it at that level, because it's more important that you just are locked in like a machine. Okay. But if you can come down a tiny bit, that could be nice.
That would help me more.
Okay. You guys are fantastic. Seriously, thank you so much. I'm very excited for tomorrow.
Thank you for this piece. And it's only going to get better, you know, over the next 2 weeks too.
Very happy.
Next is Jolley. Hey, by the way, did everyone see, you know that today's rehearsal is mostly in order except not? So after intermission, it's Jolley, which this is Jennifer Jolley right there, by the way. She's here. She just flew in from Ohio. Yep. So anyway, so let's reset for that, but then it'll be Schoenberg after that. So, okay, thank you.
Oh, for the...
The concert was awesome.
I thought everything went just about as well as it could have gone.
It was wonderful and amazing and exciting and energizing. Oh, so great.
It was a really good performance. The whole concert was really good, but in particular the Schoenberg, I think, went phenomenally.
There is no better feeling than being with all of your friends, just going up on stage with our fearless leader and making music and performing and having all of our hard work finally be presented to an audience.
Adam is really in this realm is kind of an unknown, and it's a really special opportunity to have someone who is so fresh and so young and so popular in the orchestral world. I mean, you know, is having such great success there, and this is the first time he personally has done anything for the wind ensemble.
My favorite movement was the fourth movement. I'm really, really in love with Ivan's clarinet solo, and I think that movement to me is the most deep and impacting.
The first movement, just the powerful low brass chords at the very beginning, and the way that sets up the rest of the piece.
We know it really well now, and so many people don't know it at all. The whole audience has no idea what it is, and we got to give them that first impression. They got an awesome first impression.
Because it's such a large work, and there's so many great moments in it, the biggest thing that I picked up from people was they were already ready to hear it again.
Seeing a piece really from the second it starts existing until the first performance, and now we get to keep writing it into future performances, it's a really interesting process. I hope it keeps evolving in the way it has so far.